All right, guys, welcome to today's video where I am going to show you one incredible weekend in Austin, Texas. We're going to talk about NPC Fit Model, NPC Bikini, and IFBB Pro Bikini, where I had competitors in all these divisions, all who excelled. We're going to talk about a little bit about what we did the days leading up to the show. And I'm going to show you right now a little bit of the overalls, and then we're going to get into some of the details. We're going to do a little storytelling, right, guys? So this is the NPC Republic of Texas. Now, I've gone to this show every year since it first existed. And the first ever pro bikini champion of this show was my client, Daraja Hill at the time, now Daraja Whitemoyer. So this show has a good place in my heart. And so the new Fit Model division is quickly gaining ground and popularity, and I love it. I absolutely believe it is bringing excitement back to the sport for a lot of women. And this is a overall. This is it. These are all the class winners from this show posing down for the overall. Now, one of these young ladies is my client, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But I wanted to directly show you the bikini division. So this is the overall at the same show, the NPC Republic of Texas. These are the 6 class winners in bikini. So this is the overall bikini pose down for the NPC show. So just a little bit of comparison so you can see, obviously the posing is a little bit different, the muscularity is a little bit different, and I think the divisions are very complementary of each other. There's a place for both of these divisions at shows, and as a coach, it was exciting for me to be at a show with some very good competitors. Again, one of these young ladies is also my competitor, and that's why I was filming the overall. Now, we're going to start at the beginning. We're going to go back to the beginning of the weekend. And what I typically like to do when I'm able to at a show is I meet with my athletes the day before the show. And this show is run a little bit differently than most shows in that all the competitors competed at night for the women. The men were in the morning, the women were at night. So we'll get into that a little bit. So this is Valerie Reyes, who this was our first show together. She's from Texas, and we had decided to do this show a while back. She's an NPC competitor. This is Brittany Shrimp, who won her pro card last year with me at North Americans. And this was our IFBB Bikini Pro debut. Very, very exciting. And you can see how lean she is. This is Marina Maladin, an IFBB Bikini Pro that I've been coaching for a while from Florida. She flew out. I just love these videos. Look how lean Brittany is. And I mean, honestly, you guys want to see what shredded looks like up close and personal? That's it. Sometimes it's hard to represent it. And the fun thing for me is this gym, this Gold's Gym on 6th Avenue in Austin, really has some, interesting lighting. I found a spot. This is Christina Sangor, who is making her pro bikini debut. She won her pro card at Nationals. And so we had taken a year to grow, and grow she did. And this is Brittany. Now you can see Brittany's color is not on her body yet, but conditioning looks fantastic. And again, this is her pro debut as well. So I had 2 athletes making their pro debut. So my goal for this day, here's Marina, is to get in the gym with them. For the people that I'm not familiar with, get to know them. We talk about our diet. We talk about how things are progressing. This is Friday morning. And so I get a chance to see how their physiques look under the lights. This is Albina. I didn't get a chance to get videos of everybody training, but when you got a couple different people in different phases of prep, I figured I'd just show you guys as much as I could. I do a morning check-in with everybody. So this is Brooklyn, who flew in from Utah for this show because we wanted to hit this show before hitting the national stage. We wanted to get feedback because the nice thing about a big show like this is you get to see some really good judges. Now, this was Brittany before bed. So yeah, as a coach, I'm trying to get multiple feedbacks. And so I just wanted to show you guys an example. I see everybody in the morning. I see them before bed. We make our final adjustments. We didn't have to make any crazy adjustments. And here are some friends, Andy in Jamaica and Albina, and there's me. There's Christina and Mitchell. And so we are at the check-ins. Now, you will not see a check-in like this. This show puts on all the stops. I mean, they go above and beyond. And so you got to give it to Bernadette and the whole crew out in Texas, Freddie and I do. They support each other. They help each other. They had 47 bikini pros competing, and I had 3 of those. But it's just a wonderful event. You don't often get like check-ins on stage and they call out your name. There's the head judge, Bill Sibilia. There's Mo Newman. And so I just thought I'd capture the moment for them. Now, the reason a lot of these videos are vertical is because I was putting this stuff on Instagram, but I figured I'd show you guys some behind the scenes stuff so you can see, you know, what goes into a show weekend. So that was check-ins Friday evening, and surprise, surprise, Lexi was doing this show. She didn't really announce it until the day before. She was actually in the bikini division. And so that was it. That was our day. Now, what do I do when I travel on these shows? I get up and I go to the gym. So that's right. That's me. I figured I'd just take a moment to appreciate all the effort I've been putting in. This has been my best year ever. I'm 49, and this has been my best year ever for going to shows and getting up and training and eating right. So I was very happy with how I was looking, feeling a little bit proud of that. This is just to give you guys a sense of the size of this show. It's at an amazing hotel in Austin called the Fairmont. It's got the entire ballroom. There's tons of people there. It's busy all day long. It's a huge event, and I'm gonna go to this show every year if I have the opportunity. It's just such a great show for the competitors, for the people that are attending, and even just to travel. I'll show you at the end of the video, you know, I did a little exploring. This is Pro Bikini. So Pro Bikini on Saturday went first for the women. They did all the NPC men, then the Pro men, then they started with the Pro women. So this is backstage. So, you know, I'm checking their tans, I'm checking their pumps. I was backstage with them. They actually had this really nice lighting and setup. Look at Christina's glutes, just fantastic. I was very excited about how all my pros were looking. They all look spectacular. That was the champion of the show, Reina, and that's Christina. And I really wanted to show Christina how close she was. If we were a little bit leaner, I think we would have been pushing for a couple of those top spots. But for a pro debut, she really stood out, and she got some great feedback. And actually, for her pro debut in a show of 47 people, she made top 10. So we'll go through each of the girls' individual routines. Now, they've really shortened the pro individual routines. I didn't really get a lot of the call outs, but I figured I'd show you this. This is Marina. Now, great glute fullness. I think I told her I wanted her to be about 2 or 3 pounds leaner for our next show. And that's going to give us the illusion of being a little bit bigger, and then I can feed her a little bit more going into the show. My approach with athletes going into a show is to feed them in. They need to be eating going into the show. And to do that, you've got to be very lean. This is Christina Senghor, again, pro debut. And structurally, muscularity-wise, absolutely flawless. She's got all those things. Now, what we need to work on with her is I think we could get her conditioning a little better. And I think her stage presence. You see how she's walking there a little bit rushed, stepping a little bit hard. Her actual poses themselves are good, but this was only her 5th show of her life, and it was a pro bikini debut. So, and it's been a year and a half since she's been on stage. So we've got some things to work on, but the wow factor is just absolutely undeniable. And this is Brittany Shrimp. She did an amazing job since turning pro as well. She turned pro last August, and she added some muscle. I felt we brought really good conditioning to this show. Again, it's so hard, guys, for it to come across. You see how on stage, they don't look as hard or as grainy as they did in the gym? Well, they are. It's just that the lighting and everything kind of blurs everything out, but she had a lot of wow factor to her. Didn't get into that top 10. The reason the top 10 is significant because at a show like this, they only let the top 10 do their routines at finals. Now, this was the confirmation round of scoring, 6 through 10, and they were really looking at Christina. They moved her all over. So what you're looking for here is, you know, shape, you know, muscle fullness, and they actually moved Christina into the middle of this group at one point. I hope I got that on film, but I just wanted you guys to see. There's Savannah Watchman, just spectacular physique. I think that's Savannah Dolezal. And yeah, and so like these women are jacked and shredded and finely tuned athletes. Like they are impressive to see in person. Christina, again, I think we could have been just a little bit tighter in the glutes, and we will be for our next show. But you know, these athletes are so impressive in person. So I wanted to give you guys like some up close. This would be what would be considered 5 through 10. And they were trying to sort out, you know, the placings, which is what you want to see. You want to see everybody compared. And I'm pretty sure I captured it when they moved Christina over towards the middle of this group, which I was excited about because, you know, her goal when she told me her goal for the show was to make top 15. And for her to get moved into the top 10 and then even be placed for a minute there in the 5 or 6 position, she eventually got moved out to the 9-10 position. But again, the potential is there for her to crack into, some really high placings at these shows. So, but again, you'll notice she fidgets a little bit. She's covering her glute up. And I think, the endurance of being on these stages and holding your poses, you can't minimize it. It's challenging. And again, you'll see some of the girls really hold still. And I felt like, Christina was fidgeting, and the head judge actually said to me, he noticed that, her stage presence could have been a little better. Here's her smile. Watch, she won't smile till she's done. So that's just something that you notice as a coach. You go, okay, well, we want to be pulling out our smiles. They moved her out there. But again, I was just so proud. This was finals. And again, this show was unique in that they did Pro Bikini, I think started at 4, and then they did Pro Bikini Awards, and then they started the NPC show. So my NPC girls didn't even show up to compete until like 5 or 6 o'clock at night, which is interesting. It can be nerve-wracking as an athlete to just sit around all day, but it means you get to have a normal day. You don't have to rush your hair and makeup. So yeah, I was just a proud coach on this day. I had athletes across NPC Fit Model, NPC Bikini, and Pro Bikini. And it was just one of those great days as a coach. I've been doing this a long time, and I love what I get to do. And Austin is just a great venue for these kind of shows. So now we're going to switch quickly back to the NPC. That was the pro show. Now, Raina won that show, and rightfully so. This is Brooklyn Goodsell. This is her individual routine. Now, for Fit Model, it's a slightly different front pose. We call it the stallion pose. The routines are a little more abbreviated. You don't want the extreme conditioning, the hard tie-ins, but you want to be lean enough and full enough to have a nice appearance. And you see how she squares up her shoulders. I think the Fit Model front pose is probably one of the most kind of confusing front poses that I've seen for athletes. So this is what we call prejudging. This is the morning. Well, it's not the morning, but it's the prejudging. And then we have 2 athletes in the class move to the middle. And if you're in the middle, it's generally first or second place. So as a coach, I'm looking, okay, how is Brooklyn better potentially here? A little more muscle, a little fuller in the glutes. I think her color is better. I think her stage presence is a little bit better. Brooklyn's a veteran. She'd already won an overall this year and, been in first call outs at nationals. So this was our opportunity to just get in front of a new judge and get some feedback. And now we're going to head to the bikini division. So I only had one fit model. This is Lexi Maitland. Now, Lexi is a coach for Pro Physique. If you're interested in coaching with us, set up a free consult. I'll put that link below. But Lexi is one of the bright spots for Pro Physique. She does an amazing job with our podcast. She's just a great personality. She's a wonderful coach. She lives here in Tampa near me, so we get to hang out a bunch. But yeah, Lexi popped into the show, didn't tell anybody. And I think a lot of that just had to do with the fact that she didn't want to stress out her clients or have anybody feel like she was, burdening anyone. She did end up splitting middle in her class, which I believe was class B. This is class C, I believe. This is Valerie Rhea's individual routine. As you see, a little bit more muscle and a little bit more conditioning than the Fit Model division, right? Valerie is a future bikini pro, no doubt. She's got all the wow factor for that. And that's why we were at this show prior to going to the USAs. We wanted to get feedback. And again, after her individual routine, they bring her out in her class and she is splitting the middle position, which is what you want as a coach. You want your athletes in the middle, and then, you let the finals determine where you're going to be at. I was fairly confident about her class. There were some other good competitors that I was, like, okay, the overall is going to be interesting. It's going to be a good overall, but very, very happy with her class. And again, the reason these videos are vertical because most of this stuff was posted on Instagram, so my apologies there. They go into the awards, and Brooklyn ends up winning her open class. I believe she was class I think they did E. I think they did A, B, C, D, E, so 5 classes. So she won class E, and then after you win your class, they bring you back out on stage and they do the overall pose down. So there was 5 girls. So this is where you gain a lot of confidence as a coach. When there's 5 and they move your client to dead center for the overall, you go, cool, good things are happening. So sure enough, Brooklyn gets the center position for the overall. I believe they turn them. But again, you'll see the variations in the front pose. I think all the young ladies here are doing it pretty well. But you are not allowed to stand to the side. You have to stand forward. And in the back pose, I think, you know, she had the best combination of conditioning, size. So yeah, I was fairly confident. They didn't walk them. Sometimes they'll make them walk if it's close. I don't think it was particularly close in the overall. Brooklyn just stood out. And then, you know, as a coach, I snuck up behind the scorer's table and she gets the overall. Boom. Very exciting way to start the evening. My first ever NPC overall title at this show. Now, I won the Pro Bikini title at the show. I've never won the NPC overall at this show. So Brooklyn has now won 2 pretty big overalls in the Wasatch Warrior and the Republic of Texas this year. So she's on her way to doing some great things in the fit model category. Much stuff, but you see how they do this show. They really treat the athletes well. And then there's Miss Sheila Brown backstage, who's doing the interviews for NPC News Online. So I just figured I'd capture a moment of that. But I really didn't have a whole lot of time to waste. So here is the bikini category, and Albina ended up taking 3rd in her class, but Valerie won her class. And so now we're gonna go into a bikini overall. So you'll see, again, 6 competitors, A through F, A, B, C, D, E, F, each a little bit different in height. And you can see these girls have some muscle, they have great conditioning, great shape. You know, Texas is a great state full of great competitors. And Valerie was, you know, she was already in the middle position being in class C. If I remember correctly, they didn't move a single person. And so I like that because she was already in the middle. And looking at this, I felt, okay, she had the best combination of size, shape, and muscle. Some of the girls had a little more muscle. Some of the girls had a little more size, but I thought as far as the division, as far as fitting the criteria, she was fitting it the best. And they really didn't move anyone. And then, you know, once they do that, they take them over the diagonal, and then you're just waiting to hear what you want to hear. And this was one of those great days as a coach. You know, some days I get my butt kicked. You know, this coaching is hard, and being at the shows when someone loses, it teaches you how to be a better coach, because you've got to pay attention to things that cause you not to win. And this was just a great moment. Valerie really wanted this. This was very important to her. She was so excited. And this was us, you know, 2 weeks out now before USA's. We got feedback from the head judge, Bill, and she made some serious improvements before USA's. And again, another interview backstage. And so a lot of this stuff is not normal. So again, an amazing show. And then I went walking around Austin on Sunday, and these are food delivery robots. I've never seen this. They literally put the food in and it drives to where you live. This was, I think, the Four Seasons, back of the Four Seasons. There's a lake back there. Just some really, you know, Austin is just such a diverse and interesting city between the, I don't know, it's just fun city. There's some fun parts, and it's very, I don't know, I liked seeing the lights, and I don't know if it's coming across in the videos, but yeah, that's it for me, guys. Like, you know, coaching is obviously my passion, and I love doing it, but I also love getting to visit great cities like Austin. So last week I was in Vegas. This weekend I'm going to be at the Tampa show. Where else am I going coming up? I'm going to Orlando for a show, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. So yeah, this is just fun for me, and I love doing it. And I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see at shows, if there's more of something or less of something, or if you want to speak to me, I'll put a link below. I'd love to help you with your contest prep, with your needs. All right, guys, hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.